Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with TC Mono to bring you guys Jiminy versus GlobalClan. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 18, Week 4B, and if you did not get enough of Jiminy versus GlobalClan already, well, luckily for you, we have more on the table. It's the middle of the season, so you might see some matches, some deja vu, some revenge happening for a lot of these teams. We're immediately getting to see that this week as we're actually going to be shifting over from Bagel over to the most classic map in the pool of Process to see if Jiminy can get their revenge.
Yeah, we will have to see if Jiminy can get their revenge, because if you weren't here last night, Jiminy lost, like Jared said, on Bagel. And now it's kind of a question of, are they going to be able to adapt? There's a little bit of roster shakeups, which I think we will go over in just a moment for Jiminy, which is kind of been the case a little bit for GlobalClan as well. We didn't really get to talk about it too much last time because we just kind of went right into it. But GlobalClan, they swapped out Kira for Dingo. And I don't know if you saw the stats, Jared, as a demo main yourself, but the amount of damage that demo man was doing on Bagel was absolutely astronomical. Partially because, as we were kind of talking about earlier, that Quickie Bomb launcher was just so devastating to try and play against. And then, of course, they do have Shamu. Instead of Perfection, he kind of came in earlier in the season. I think Perfection only played one round with GlobalClan, which was actually on this map versus Fjord Gaming, and that's the one that GlobalClan lost. So maybe they're looking for a little bit of a revenge in terms of just map and kind of getting this map a little bit better under their in their pool a little bit better. But over on the side of a Jiminy, I mean, walk us through what this shakeup that they've done, because it's not just one player that's kind of doing a different class. It's like you said, it's a whole new team.
Yeah, it's very different. You have Sai moving over to Demo, which pushes Logai onto Medic, which pushes Speedy onto Pocket Scout. Kobe's still on Flank Scout, but when Sax comes in to replace Yite, Sax takes Zam's roamer spot, which pushes Zam to Pocket Soldier. So one new player, but everyone else except Kobe is in a new position to various degrees.
Yeah, they are in new positions, and on one hand, you look at that roster, and it makes sense in a lot of ways. Obviously, you can still argue that Kobe and Zam are off-classing there, but in the Bagel match last night, Kobe, he was going in, and he was playing without any fear. I think it was Unicorn Wizard last night who said he was playing Scout like a soldier who thinks Scout should be played, as in, just run in, I'm the best class in the game, I can take every 1v1, and that's exactly what Kobe was doing, and he was having a lot of success on it. So Kobe definitely feeling himself on the Scout role, but then every other switch kind of makes sense. Obviously, Psy Guy, we know that he can play Scout and Soldier, which he played initially for this team, and now he's going to be on Demo, which I think is kind of how he started Invite, or that's the first class I remember him kind of getting big on, so not too surprising to see him there. Yeah, and then Logai, of course, on Medic. I don't know. Obviously, he's a great medic, arguably maybe the best in the game at the moment. But, when you come in for an off-class season, Jared, especially when your main is medic and you finally get to play a fragging class, to be forced onto it, I don't know how that feels.
I mean, it kind of depends, when you need to do some sort of roster shakeup to keep the team alive, there's various degrees of players being like, sure, that's fine, I don't mind. It's not really a big deal. And others that are like, well, I'd rather play than not play, so I guess I better swap. So it's really a case-by-case basis that you wouldn't really get to know until you actually get to maybe talk with some of the players. Maybe in interviews or just hear them on streams on how they feel about the swap. So for now, it might be a little bit of a mystery, but surely all will be revealed as time goes on. And who knows, maybe things will change opinion-wise after these kinds of swap happens, depending on whether or not you win or lose your matches afterwards. It always sucks to have a swap happen and then it doesn't really lead to the results you want. But if it does, then maybe some people who weren't that keen on doing it but did it for the sake of the team will have a new opinion on things and be like, yeah, okay, I like winning more, that's my priority. So we can go ahead and put your 2 cents in on what you think the final score is going to be, and I do not blame a whole lot of people for being very torn on what they think the final result is going to be.
Yeah, no, I don't blame them either, because I am torn as well, because on one hand, you still come into this, even with the roster shakeups, you just kind of look at the roster of Jiminy, and you, especially now that they're kind of on their quote-unquote main classes, and you're like, they should win. This is a roster that should win. Sai, Kobe, and Lil Guy on Medic, just that alone is, I think, enough to convince a lot of people. And then you add Speedy on Pocket Scout, which I forgot the last time he played Pocket Scout, but you told me earlier that it was on my anime list a couple of years ago, so hopefully he still got that on his back pocket. And then, of course, Saxophone, Froyo, Tested Soldier, really good as well. So you look at that roster, and you're like, yeah, they should win. But then you have to consider the fact that GlobalClan, they just beat them last night, and even with a roster shakeup one night, I mean, that's what, maybe one map, maybe two maps of, like, scrim time on this new roster to really get a feel for things. And then you gotta, assume that GlobalClan, they got momentum, they gotta be feeling good about themselves. Obviously, it is a day break between each match, but that's still a little bit of kind of a mental kind of going into this that Jiminy might have to overcome.
Yeah, but I feel like it's so easier to overcome that mental and have it not be a detriment because you do make this change. You can psych yourself into saying, like, it won't be like what happened last night because everything's so different. Like, you don't have to worry about, like, oh man, we lost because of this, and that. We need to fix that, and this player needs to do this other thing. And all of a sudden, all the bad things that happen aren't relevant anymore. Like, point out different classes that needed to be doing this, that, or the other. And it's like, okay, well, a person's not playing that role anymore, so who cares? So I think it's way easier for your mental to be intact. However, it doesn't necessarily make the execution of anything that much easier. These are still top-level teams that every little thing that you do right or wrong is going to make the difference. And going back to things that you're more familiar with is certainly going to help a whole lot, but there's still a lot of coordination that needs to come into play, especially on a map like Process, where you can't necessarily go 100% off of super special plays or anything of the sort to lead you to victory. And Bagel can have a lot of that, especially with forward holds and which houses do you push and things like that. The timing and the Koth shenanigans of, do you go for these Uber exchanges or you just do sacks and work off the ad instead? So Process, it's much more cookie cutter. There's a little bit there to work with, but it's less of a surprise and more of a, okay, which one of these teams going to do? So, you don't have it all locked down, but you maybe have a little bit better odds if you're the side of Jiminy, I think. Just because you've swapped everything so much and GC have swapped nothing since then, so if there were any crossover between Bagel and Process when it came to player tendencies, not map stuff, you'd have a very quick refresher of like, oh yeah, this person always likes to go for these flank plays, or no, this player plays extremely passive, or this player is not worth focusing in our bombs because they just hold us the whole time. And for the side of GlobalClan, I mean, they look at this team in front of them, they're like, all right, how are they going to play again? These guys are all they're doing different stuff now. So I think it makes sense if we see Jiminy start off really strong, but will it end strong for them? It remains to be seen.
Does remain to be seen, and I think one of the most important swaps is kind of Lil Guy. Not that he was bad at demo, he was really good at demo, but one of the major things as we are about to go live here on the very first mid that allowed GlobalClan to win was the fact that Dank only died 7 times, and Speedy, who was on Medic last night, died 14 times, so double the deaths. And Lil Guy, he's known for being able to stay alive, so we're going to see if he's going to be able to contend with Dank as we go live on the first mid. Both demos just going to be playing around their team. No one committing just quite yet. Sam over on the low ground taking a little bit of damage. He's going to have to waddle back up and get healthy. Maybe trying to initiate some type of bomb as Taz gets aggressive over towards IT. Isn't going to go for anything right there. Saxophone, actually speaking of it, is going to go into the enemy team's IT. And he's going to get a lot of spam damage, but Quacks finds the opening pick onto Kobe. That might be the calling card for everyone to go in. His sword just runs in, doing a lot of damage. Shamu follows it up. Speedy as well, just barely going to be able to get out on the scout class. And Saxophone is in behind, is just going to trot and draw eyes as everyone else on GlobalClan getting a little bit too aggressive over in choke.
Yep, the nice pick onto Kobe really set things in motion for the side of GlobalClan. Sax is still behind. He's going to be a bit of a nuisance, at least causing a distraction here for them. Bombs in, finds some rocket on the day. He drops. He gets pushed to 1 HP, and a final rocket from across the map will take him out. Lol Guy does have his Uber if he needs to use it. So far, he's holding on to it, but they are able to get 2 kills this immediately. Speedy finding his way on to Shamu and Taz. So, I mean, using your Uber there, getting forced to... You got 2 kills. Can't be mad at it. So they can go ahead and leave one person. Kobe's here on cap. Go ahead and push forward into 2 lead. least a little bit. Try to push them out. They know the heals aren't here yet. Just got to keep your team alive. And after a little bit of damage on the Soar and probably soon on the remaining explosive classes, red team has no positioning here. I mean, they're trying to salvage so hard. The soldier bombs in, buys some room. They take Sai out of the equation, but Lowguy backs all the way up. They get the rocket onto Sora over in grass, and even though the initiation was okay, at the end of the day, they gave up too much and got too little in return, so it's all for naught as they go ahead and back up to last with their disad.
Yep, fortunately for them, it's not too big of a disad. It's only around about 20%, so if they're able to kind of just stuff everyone on Jiminy here and maybe get a cheeky pick while they're in lobby, they should definitely buy enough time. Exactly like that onto Zam. That should buy enough time, but no, they're still going to go for it. Speedy, leaning with charge in. He's going to try and clear these things off a point. Still gets deaded on and is going to die. Saxophone bombing into so much damage on the Dingo. Gets the kill. Taz as well. So that's going to be 2 projectiles down for GlobalClan. They are going to still have Uber advantage. The Saxophone lingers up in heaven, going to be sent to heaven as he gets taken down. But now they are going to have to wait for their respawners, especially Dingo, before they go forward. That is going to not give enough time for Lowguy to get Uber, but it is going to buy them enough time to get into defensive positions.
I'm amazed at how well they salvaged that Uber despite how bad it was in the beginning. First a sniper shot, then your scout dies on the point, but they still get 2 kills, so it buys some time. Not too far away to get an Uber of their own if red even uses out, and they're trying to be greedy about it. They wanted to go in dry and not just pop straight through, banking on the fact that, you know, maybe blue would be really passive, and if they just walked in, they wouldn't get punished too much, but they assumed wrongly and are going to give up both their soldiers for it, so they don't really have a whole lot of presence here to actually block off anything. Sax will end up dying, so we're able to take that pick, and Kobe will indeed die. I thought he was almost going to escape, but at the end of the day, Shamu was able to scatter him down. So overall, just a 2-man attempt. I mean, pretty good job at trying to at least get through the doors. They got through it at least, but Dank pretty much unscathed, not really bothered whatsoever as the bomb comes through. Quacks. Oh, he gets arrowed. He gets lock and loaded down. He got trolled because Taz moved the stickies into his jump and it prevented him from going anywhere. So very unfortunate. But with no demo here, once again, defense, very difficult. Sax gets into Nest, but as soon as he lands, he dies. And Zam, I think he's realized that, yeah, I don't want to be the second soldier. I need to be able to lock down everything outside. So we'll go ahead and escape. But GlobalClan on the move. Shamu finding a way to find the
Shamu's
jumps
just
right
in.
over him.
Oh my god.
But misjudges where Lowguy would be standing, did not realize, and finds no one.
He actually just jumped over Lowguy's head. Speedy is over in lobby, and that's going to be Taz jumping in, trying to get on him. Kobe is up on Sniper and all that chaos. He's not had an opportunity to really go for the shot, but he's in lobby with the rest of his squad down, just trying to find that angle. Is going to be peeking over towards Rolla, going for a very, very deep peek. No one's really watching, and he gets it on the tank. That is absolutely insane. One shot is all he needed, and now they're going to go in with the Uber. They instantly take down Dingo. No stickies on point. Speedy already trying to capture it up. You have Sword over on Heavy. They do find one onto Kobe. Shamu's gonna be able to find one onto Sam, but I think it's just too little too late. But no, maybe it's not. The scouts coming in clutch. Just a lifetime side with him. Maybe 5 and he gets it. It doesn't matter. They were able to hold that. That was so clutch. That was almost beef coming out from Jiminy, but Sai clutches up even harder. Makes it a 1-0 game.
Yeah, a little sketchy. It seemed like the red scouts were almost about to salvage there, but at the end of the day, there was too much on their plate and got pushed away from some of the explosives, and all it took was a red HP demo to seal the deal in the first round. It goes in Jiminy's favor. You know, they got to play really fast, and it seems like Taz, he was really going for his Sai right there, but was not able to reach anything and any kills. And Dingo dying as well, really weak, was unable to really jump away, so no stickies here means that red team's going to have a really hard time locking down these doors. They know that one person's capping. It's only a 5v4. They can find an early kill on the Sax or something, and maybe they could stay, but no. They see that no one's rushing it. They're playing slow and all coming in at the same time, so they're going to go ahead and back up and not be greedy about things. But overall, back to last they go off of what happened at mid. 2 still needs to be capped. Kobe will be on that eventually, but the bombs are coming through. Sax does not even reach his target. Has to maybe settle for one of the soldiers, but not enough damage is able to come through. So overall, a 2-man as Zam will also fall in the 5 door. It's not a whole lot of spam here to lock down these doors, so Sora finds a way through. Extra room for Taz as well. The entire blue team is playing over by the grass side and trying to bait at least a little bit. Have Sai sticky snipe him maybe, but they've lost too much positioning. They probably didn't intend to lose both soldiers, so we'll go ahead, play it safe, concede back to mid.
Yep, they are gonna head back, and that was a good push out from GlobalClan with the help of those 2 soldier deaths. Now, it's gonna be on Jiminy to try and figure out some way in onto the second point. You see them kind of getting over into sewer. They don't have a sniper, so it's really gonna be on their soldiers, at least initially. You can see Zam kind of walking through Al-Qaeda, Kobe and Saxophone maybe trying to go for some type of IT shove as Taz is in, gonna drop down, but might get collapsed upon as, yeah, Kobe just walks forward. It's gonna be a little bit of a better trade, however, for GlobalClan, it is gonna be 2 in their favor. Actually, no, 3 as well. So now they're just gonna be walking forward through choke. It's really only gonna be Side trying to lock it down with Speedy. They might try and take exchange. Speedy gets launched up in the sky, and Side gets dropped from whatever potential Uber there could have been, and that's gonna be the call to back up. They do have their spawners quick, but they don't have any space. They are gonna have to give it up.
They'd have faster respawners. There's not a whole lot of GlobalClan people here, so they're still trying the same way that GlobalClan tried. GlobalClan was going against the odds to see if they can make something happen, and Jiminy are doing the same. They've actually successfully blocked off the Cap and Ubering to make sure that Side does indeed get his forwards. They get the kill on the Taz and the Quack. The entire explosive lineup from the side of GlobalClan is falling. As impressive as it was to see GlobalClan really try to go for it in the mid, despite definitely going to have the respawner disadvantage if an exchange happened the way that you would expect it to happen at choke. They get the demo kill. It looked amazing for him, but Jiminy, they just bring it right back, completely wipe them, hold on to the last second until they use the Uber, make sure they get all of their respawners, somehow turn it into a family Uber. Maybe there was a comm issue on GlobalClan. Everyone didn't realize what was happening and they were about to all need flashes, but whatever it was, Jiminy really turned the dial to 11 way more than GlobalClan did and find themselves a second round.
Yep, 2-0 for Jiminy, looking a lot better in comparison to last night, as Saxophone gonna get immediately bombed by Taz over on the high ground. Just gonna be playing towards the enemy team's IT
dang.
for the moment. Dang, taking a lot of damage. Yeah, it's gonna have to back up, and that's gonna be the call. I think another soldier is gonna fall. Quacks does go down, so no Shamu or Quacks, and that is just gonna be an opening for Jiminy to come right in.
Oh, Taz though. One rocket. Wall guy pushed forward. He's fine. No one else is there to follow up. That was almost amazing, but the mid, pretty simple. If you drop the enemy medic to 24 HP, you just win. Because either you go and you kill him, or you see he leaves and now no one gets healed, and you just kill the people that aren't healed. But Taz almost salvaged, not quite enough though, so it will be a stalemate. Sax bombing in, trying to find a way onto the demo because Dank has been playing pretty passive on these last holds. They are going to lose 2. No down man, probably didn't want that to happen for the blue team. That's the second time we've really seen them kind of screw up these 2-mans and probably give up more than they actually wanted, and they're going to have to all just retreat maybe get a kill on the Taz. Speedy gets arrowed, he's alive somehow, but deja vu. They find themselves on 2 after a good mid and just screw up somewhere and find themselves right back where they started.
Yep, and it is going to be deja vu because the exact thing happened last round, and you can see kind of the same exact thing. They are going to be going over into sewer as once again Saxophone and Kobe are going to try and pressure through IT, getting a bit of damage on Taz. Taz not going to go for the bait just quite yet as they're trying to make a little bit of space for someone to go in. That person is going to be Saxophone, kind of beeps the jump a little bit, hits his head, is going to fall, so not having the same amount of success as Quacks goes in very deep for the wraparound, doing a lot of damage, but not onto Lol Guy is going to be super healthy throughout all of that. So really great kind of counter sack. You have to do it very quick, which Quacks was able to do. He had the timing, but just unfortunately not enough damage to get the kill.
Yeah, Zam's in, gets some damage on a Shamu. That's not the target he wants. He will probably eventually die. Does no one see him? No, he gets arrowed. Overall trade, pretty good in blue team's favor. They took the demo out of the equation, but they dropped 2 players. So, I mean, I guess it's fine. You are the team that's sacking. You're allowed to have the player disad. That's pretty normal. The fact they got the demo kill is actually pretty huge as well, because it means you probably don't want to do too much if you're GlobalClan. You're down your demo and you counter sack. That leaves things way too open. So, rightly so, they just go ahead and chill. Don't do anything off the 2 picks. We do see the sniper off class come from Speedy, so he'll be waddling his way to mid eventually to try to dome some people, and we get to see how GlobalClan responds. They've been pretty fine with just dropping their heels into grass to be very aggressive here in their defense, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see them do the same as soon as the sniper is revealed. The question is will it be a flank shove through IT or them shoving heels through either choke or sewer?
We'll have to see. Last time it was Kobe up on sniper and he immediately got the headshot. Speedy is playing a little bit more passively, just kind of slow peeking through choke, trying to go for the angle. Shot doesn't connect, but they do know about the sniper now. Immediately Taz gonna go for the high bomb, actually fades away. There's a middle from Sam, maybe trying to get onto that soldier, doesn't find it. Actually, that's going to be a soldier down. They still have Saxophone kind of looking over towards IT, so it's not too bad for Jiminy, all things considered, but they are just going to have to back up with that sniper there. It's a little bit of firepower to kind of hold those doorways, and they're going to rotate over in IT, trying to see if maybe someone peeks that angle and gives Speedy a nice, easy shot.
And it doesn't seem like they want to counter-sack yet. I'm unsure if they're just willing to just like, yeah, we'll just reset, whatever, who cares? We don't want to have people down when there's a sniper threat that potentially needs to be dealt with. The spam would probably be extremely important to make sure that he can't, just peek again and again and again. So if you go ahead and do a sack while he has one, the other team has one, it can be a little rough if you don't make sure you get that force. So I guess I can see the idea there, but we do have a pause. So hopefully it's nothing too crazy, but we can see the move at least that blue team is making right now with Speedy and Sewer.
Yeah, Speedy over in Sewer, at least for the meantime, just trying to see if there's some type of angle he can connect. You can see that Dank is playing all the way behind the point, so not really at risk of falling to the sniper, but maybe if a bomb isn't called, he's got no real way of kind of watching it, so it really is on someone, probably Quacks, to really call it if he does see a bomb going, because he's got the only one with kind of a easy line of sight from at least where they all are at the moment to really call that for him, so just trying to play as far away from the sniper as possible. Thing is, though, Speedy, you just keep giving him shots. Eventually, one of them is going to connect. So it really falls on the soldiers, Taz and Quacks, to try and shut that down and make it dangerous for Speedy to just have this nice open angle, because Process, it's got some long sight lines in it if you're not careful.
Yeah, it looks like Taz and Sora in IT. I'm not sure if they're going to be trying to push sacks or if they're just coincidentally there, and now that the sniper is called, they'll be trying to leave it. So far, they haven't done IT stuff, but maybe this is the point at which they change. So we'll see if we start to see some committing happening with this unpause. It looks like no, they're going and staying in their holding positions, maybe finding the moment where Speedy gets a little bit too impatient and really goes for it. But Taz, getting aggressive. Quack's pulling the trigger as well, able to go ahead and bomb him, take him out of the equation. Kobe not long for this hole, potentially. He's staying near the shutter. His team's kind of left him, but he eats the pack and goes back to mid, so overall just one sniper down. Is red team on the move this time. Now there's no sniper on the field as of at least the moment. We'll see if he respawns on it as a sack comes in. Zam tries to find an opportunity, off timing to catch Dank. Unaware, but does not really get a whole lot of damage onto him, so at the end of the day, no sniper respawn. Sack after sack from the side of Jiminy, and the red team, I mean, they're poking and prodding from these sacks as they're holding two, but it doesn't seem like they're really committing that much unless there's something really serious to go off of.
Yeah, just trying to play a little bit conservatively here unless they see a really great opportunity. Speedy is still going to be up on a... no, sorry, my HUD is broken. He's not up, as they are going to be bombing in, trying to get in onto Dank. Saxophone not really finding enough damage to make it work. Dank still with that 100% going to be working their way over to IT, where there's a couple players they might be able to catch out. They find one, they find another onto Kobe as well. There's a bomb coming in over. Dank surfs back, and that's why it was a stalemate. They didn't get onto the point in time. So a round reset, haven't seen too many of those, not on last, but I guess that's just what happens.
Oh, and that was the pause. They were just talking about mid-fights. Okay, that's good. You'd hate to see a pause because someone's lagging out and then it affects the fight, so... Oh, GlobalClan didn't get to play last mid. Dank got hit the 20 HP, had to leave, and therefore people died. So they got to do something different, put some extra pressure onto Sai, which they've definitely done. Needs an arrow for sure, Sankey said from the side of Dingo, though. So by their sewers, they're caught in a death trap. This is, it's a change, but it's not a really great one because players other than Dank are the ones that are not long for this role. Taz will be the first fall. Quacks barely gets out, but it's fine for now. And once again, we're another mid where barely any gameplay happened. It's just the initial spam that really sealed the deal in Jiminy's favor. Is they're on the move. They're leaving one to cap, so it's still a 5v5 drive for now. Neither team has Uber. They're still getting so aggressive. Sai is just in there. Look at it. Look at his positioning. He's alone. He's just dead. Might be a bit of a mistake. And a bomb maybe coming in from Sax. No, messes up a jump. Has to leave. And I don't think Jiminy had all their ducks in a row right there. I mean, they have the Uber to bail themselves out at mid if there was any pushing happening from the side of GlobalClan, which there is. There's no stickies, no Dillman to worry about. Zam bombs in, extra damage onto the scouts. Shamu dropped at 5 HP, wants an arrow, will get it for now. They're putting extra pressure on the Dingo, though. He has to escape, and GlobalClan their initiation through. They poked and prodded to see if they could find an extra kills to get without having to make it a straight up Uber exchange. Maybe find a window to go for a low guy sack as a counter. But no dice. They have to go back to 2 and hold as they've been doing.
Yep, Kobe hiding over in very deep in IT, just trying to see if maybe a soldier or a scout gets a little bit too aggressive or explorative. That might be Taz, who spots him out and gets the easy rocket, so didn't work out in Kobe's favor, and immediately Jiminy are going to have to back out of sewer, which they were all in to try and, get some type of space or something, but with that death on the Kobe, they are just going to have to back up. Might be an opportunity for Kobe to come up on an off class himself. He had a amazing success on Sniper, just one shot, but that was all he needed, getting it onto Dank, and he is going to come up on Sniper. So this time, going to be him up on the Australian man. This turn, it's Taz's time to try and hide over in IT. He's going to back up, kind of getting sniffed out a little bit, and Jiminy going to start walking forward here, maybe try and make a little bit of space for Kobe to play with.
At this point, I'm pretty convinced that GlobalClan is just like, philosophically not counter-sacking. They don't want a window where there's less spam coming through one of these doors and say, what if Kobe didn't come up on Sniper and they just try to go for a flank play because no one's watching IT as hard? All of a sudden there's a guy behind now and that blows. So just trying to keep their defense up, have everyone ready. Taking a lot of damage as they try to thwart Kobe away from the sewer Sniper shenanigans. And they do succeed for now. A little bit of a reset. Both teams have to go ahead and back up a bit, re-heal, make sure prepare for the next outing from the side of Jiminy to see if they can find an angle to get their sniper in and get a kill, get something, get a nice body shot. But he's very close to choke. Body shots Taz, that definitely saves his life. Otherwise Taz would have just juggled him up in the air. See some initiation coming from Sax to draw some eyes, but not really anyone following up. Weren't really prepared. And a nice shot on a sword takes him out of the equation. The soldiers are still really aggressive, but Sax, he gets headshot rocketed, bomb from the other opposing soldier. They're getting cleaned up. I mean, they got so much damage on the field, but no kills to show for it. The focus fire is just not quite there. And I mean, even though the entire red team was red pretty much, Jiminy just don't have the players to really aggress and go off of anything, especially with Uber still in the equation. So gotta play off Kobe. He's on top of the crates. He's being a thorn in their side, and you already have GlobalClan being a team that does not want to counter-sack for whatever reason. And with the sniper staring at your face on top of the crates, that's going to double that notion and just have them continue to sit on second where their home is slowly solidifying.
Yeah, they are kind of definitely moving in at this point. They've got some new furniture and everything, but Saxophone trying to break that home up as he bombs and just going to be wrapping around, but Speedy is going to go down, and that's going to be very bad for Jiminy because now they don't have any scouts. If one of his soldiers can get an opportunity to get in onto Lolguy, there's no real hit scan to really project them unless Kobe just hits a miraculous headshot, which, I mean, he's Kobe, but that's still a big ask as Taz is over very deep in IT. There's no one watching it at the moment. He could just waddle through. He is going to. He gets the easy rocket onto Lolguy. The Lolguy serves and he is going to have to use as everyone else melts. They maybe tried to go for the 3-man sack, and that was just the wrong timing for Jiminy.
It's an absolute crumble. Kobe, though, he was hiding behind a rock, gets found out. That was probably the... it was definitely accidental, but that 2-prong of not only defending against the 3-man successfully, but also getting the flank play to drop Lolguy to 1 and then just straight up force him was absolutely perfect. So it took a bit, but they flipped the script around. Now they are the team that is owning mid, and potentially not for long, as do have ad. They can keep pushing the envelope here. Kobe still on Sniper. He did dive, so I don't know if he's on it or not necessarily. So they're taking the IT approach, it looks like. Bit safer when it comes to the sniper sight lines, and they get the kill on the sack, so it's not surprising more. Kobe got a little bit aggressive to see if he could try to find a way to get his sights on anyone entering IT, and Taz wanted to punish him. Not so successful there, so overall 1-for-1, but it's still Uber red in red team's favor, so not a whole lot that Blue can really do here. Gotta go ahead and back at the last. Kobe gets a nice shot on a Dingo, and that will actually slow things down, and you know what? They were slow enough to where they're not really going off it at all. I mean, they're already lost Taz, and then the fact that the Dingo got sniped and they didn't have the doors already, now Shamu gets sniped, almost dead. And they're just holding around the corner, hoping for an amazing Uber if they get too close. But Kobe Sniper really holding things down and preventing them from getting pushed all the way back to last.
Yeah, he's so deep over in choke right now. He's just got full command of this whole entire sightline. Taz And so we're trying to play the flank now. Finally, Kobe does back up, and it is going to be GlobalClan now in the position to try and break this stalemate, which we've already seen give Jiminy a lot of trouble, honestly, in the past couple of rounds. It even led to a round reset this time. We're going to see Soldier bombing forward. Quacks actually gets the damage on the Kobe. Taz follows up, tries to go for the bomb onto the medic, doesn't find anything there, so Lil Guy going to be able to stay alive, going to be even players across the board. So Jiminy might peek a little bit just to see if there's maybe some doorways open, as they do kind of pressure choke just a little, but there's no one really kind of peeking IT or sewer, so they're just going to settle in to the stalemate as GlobalClan, they don't opt to have their own sniper. I mean, Taz could have held the spawn door open for one of his scouts, but they opt not to do that. Instead, they're going to rely on their soldiers again to try and make something happen here.
Yep, they're Al-Qaeda right now, trying to buy some room for one of the soldiers to eventually go in. Taz is definitely not prepared because he fought Sax a little bit inside IT, is not going to be able to make his way through, so put some extra heals on the Quacks, and he will find an opening. Same reset maybe for Zam, gets the kill into Shamu. Overall, just a trade though. Bodies falling all across, and actually a fight happens in IT that Sax gets the better of. He's actually going for a bit of flank play and finds himself behind enemy lines over towards the sewer area. Actually buying some room for the blue team to actually get through the choke. Kobe is going to die though, so not really getting too much here, except a man behind that definitely needs to find his use. Sax going for it now, jumping into sewer, finding the moment to get the flank onto Dank, and is able to not only get the force, but get out alive. Maybe not for long, though, as there are two respawners coming that will chase him down. But this Uber from Dank, they were unprepared for it. I mean, they get this kill onto Sax, but overall, very, very successful force coming from the blue team, who are immediately on the move, trying to make space through the choke.
Yeah, now they have to try and do the same onto Lil Guy. Zam, however, does go down, and they do get the force out of Lil Guy. They might lose Taz, who is going to fall over towards the blue crates. Quacks is in a 1v1 with Kobe in the backlines, is going to lose that, but GlobalClan, they still have a lot of space over on mid, even losing those two players that pick onto Zam, buying them a little bit of time, and now they could be in position to try and go for a wraparound, as Kobe just kind of walks through IT a little bit out of sync with everyone else on Jiminy. They were still kind of pressuring Bachokin. I think especially with that pick, everyone on Jiminy, they're just going to get back up onto second, especially with only 30 seconds left in the round timer, and they might just try and go for the round reset.
Yeah, they got two soldiers rolling out, so it's really hard for GlobalClan to initiate properly, and they're just barely here, and they don't even have their buffs, so it's not necessarily a guaranteed thing, especially with the respawners in blue team's favor. You can see them lingering, like they're prepared to leave if they need to, but they're still showing signs in case some damage comes out. Quack's getting a little too far forward. Take some damage is fine, but at the end of the day, GlobalClan respawns just in time to get the people here to apply enough pressure to push the blue team out of the way and get the cap in their favor. This Uber is coming out just in exchange. The gun is up and will take Quacks out of the sky. Shamu might get chased down in one door and will get scattered down by the side of Kobe. So overall, up two dead from the side of the red team as Kobe popped up into the air, alive for now, trying to find his way onto the down mid. It was scattered down by the side of Sword, gets killed by Sight in response. Taz also falls, and it is just Dank running away, able to live. Quacks respawning to make sure he's able to be, you know, A-okay, but it was a very aggressive for exchange. Maybe they thought it was still going to be ad or something like that, but I mean, they had such a shorter Uber, got chased down and mulched completely, so very good execution from the side of Jiminy reacting accordingly, and their execution of it allows them to go all the way from last back to mid, and now finding him spot backward. Actually, I wouldn't say a good spot, because they've been in this spot before and it didn't really work out that well, now did it? You know, it took forever and didn't really find too much, but it's better than the alternative at least. They find themselves back at mid and get, who knows what, the umpteenth try to find a way to break the stalemate, but eventually it happens, right?
Yeah, eventually it should, as Saxophone is gonna make his way through lower. Actually gets the pick on the Sword. It is gonna be a trade. Dank kind of pushed a little bit far forward. Kobe very, very weak over on the low ground, but Sai hits a nice pipe on the Quacks. Kobe still in the backline, trying to go for the melee kill onto Dingo. Now gonna find a Dingo managing to stay alive, but they're also weak on GlobalClan, and Dingo is gonna go down. It's just Taz in the backlines. They don't chase Dank there, which I'm very surprised about, as now, oh my god, onto Sai sends him. That's an insane air shot.
All right, that's Taz's salvage. He didn't really get to participate in that fight. He went the option of going behind, not expecting, I guess, Jiminy to really go all in. Thought it would be a normal sack and the combo would be passive. But because they were just running straight in, it made it really difficult for Taz to participate. And that really gave Jiminy the edge, and why it seemed like it was kind of a screw it, let's just push type of push. That's why it worked so well, is because GlobalClan was kind of operating a person down almost up until the tail end of things. He did take Dingo out at the last second, but it was too little too late. So, ultimately, even Ubers. Spy on the field. Just notice that Psy, they don't have a demo man. Psy is on Spy.
Wait,
so it might be difficult to spam down that gun unless your soldiers are going to be able to do that all by themselves. But who knows? Maybe this is the play they need.
Wow. Okay, this is some insane level off-classing. If they can count the players and recognize that there's no demo, which, I mean, sounds easy, but you don't expect the demo to be off-classing, so even if you don't see him, you're probably like, well, he's just playing super passively, or I don't know, setting up some wacky trap somewhere.
Outside. He's the one he's the one sitting on spires, trapping 1 and 2 or something.
Oh my god, Psy, he's in very deep at the moment, hasn't at risk of falling. They're not kind of concerned about the Spy just quite yet. They only have Soar up on heavy. They have to try and kind of get some chaos going to find one. He finds one onto Soar. That's going to be good. At least it's kind of made it worth it a little bit, but they do take him down. That's going to be 2 down. Kobe over in one.
Oh, it's happening again. They're just all die.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the points for creativity, you gotta hand it to them, but just the execution was not there.
Well, I mean, it was always going to be really not that great because it's practically a demo dead as soon as he dies. But the fact that 2 more people die after that, it's just more of the same when it comes to them trying to break these last stalemates. They give up a whole lot. And it makes them only really get 1 attempt at it, and they're back to the point that we've seen the most in this game so far. With Jiminy, they have control of mid. But the round conversion, while in their favor, is difficult for them to really come across because this second point is just a giant wall they have to get through.
And Kobe on Sniper's not going to find any luck, immediately gets deleted. Zam as well going to be taken down, so that's going to be 2 players. An opening for GlobalClan. You can see them start to walk forward a little bit through choke. Both teams do have Uber, so you might see an exchange depending on how long this goes. Soar trying to get onto Saxophone with the rest of the help of everyone else. They do find it. Quacks getting the kill credit, and I think Jiminy, they're just going to back up. Psy might be gotta know, should be able to get out through choke, so it is just going to be a kind of an exchange of hands in terms of the control of the point, but surprisingly, no one having to use Uber there.
Yeah, I don't think blue team really wanted to because they were down 2. So red team's going for a force, and blue team's only going to do it if it looks amazing, and I guess it never did. But overall, IT fight leads to 1-to-1 trade, and Soar did indeed find a way behind. That's going to draw some people back and actually make it easier for red team to walk in once Soar does indeed call that people are chasing him. You just have to be very accurate about those calls, because if they change their mind and run back to the second point, it's a bit difficult. But Soar, trying to find an angle, doesn't want to stay behind forever, at least make sure that people are indeed chasing him, because otherwise, he's kind of just sitting back there doing nothing. But they're not biting. They're just hanging around. Kobe did respawn. He sees him, not really trying to fight him, just want to do a sort of 1v1. They don't want to commit that far either. They really got to lock down all these doors, and so far, it's just Psy doing it alone. They will finally kill him because they got the kill on the Taz, make things simpler. Zam has been behind this whole time because the flank was a bit weak with Soar being behind and Taz going for the sack, and he won't really find anything. But still, the player ad in favor of Jiminy. They're still poking the door, seeing if they can get any extra room to find to get someone in, but will not go for anything at the end of the day. The doors are locked down pretty tight, and Soar, it's GlobalClan's time to pull out Sniper. We've seen tons from Kobe in particular from the side of Jiminy, but not really too much from GlobalClan, so we see what they have in store for us. Maybe the first shot will be the thing that seals the deal here in this this new version of the stalemate.
It's the same stalemate, but a new version. It's the sequel to the one that we've seen so many times. They finally updated it as Soar going for the slow peek over towards choke, has an opportunity to maybe get on the Zam, doesn't quite connect the shot, but now they definitely know that there's a sniper on the field. Dingo getting juggled, just a little bit of speed. He gets close over towards choke, not gonna commit on anything because now Soar is over in sewer with the rest of his squad posted up, trying to see if he can maybe get the shot once again onto maybe the Devil Man. Had an opportunity, but instead Quacks is gonna fall. That's gonna be the call for everyone to back up as Saxophone is again gonna try and push through. IT gets some good rockets onto Tank, holding on to it. That is a miracle milk right there. That is insane. That soldier should have died a lot quicker. The fact that he didn't and Dank held on, props to him.
Yeah, just counting the rocket. And I figured that he'd be pretty safe. 21 HP, that was enough. So ultimately, holds on to it. out and about. They're defended by Sword just a little bit. The Sword's got a bomb in. Zam will do a little bit of a fake. Will push out the exchange. They're running in, trying to get the kill on a Dingo. Will not be so lucky, but they can find Zam, and a headshot rang out as well. No Swords available for the blue team. They had a little bit of a better Uber, but definitely aren't going to be able to get a whole lot of kills from it. Speedy going in really deep, unable to really find anything. They get the consolation kill on the Quacks, but that's not going to be enough here, really. Kobe inside lobby. I mean, they can't even block because they're just leaving 2 on the cap to the last second, and they get those soldiers now, so they can do some sort of defense, but they definitely can't hold down the doors. And Soar tried to poke in, see if he can get an immediate kill on someone who's respawning, but does not quite hit the shot. But we have entered infinite overtime, so a round here from GlobalClan won't necessarily end it, but this is definitely going to be a game that doesn't quite go the distance in terms of rounds.
Definitely. It's been pretty slow in terms of mid to second. Now, GlobalClan, they've got a good opportunity to try and make it a 2-1 game, my bad, and get their first round on the board. They have a very slim Uber advantage, and they have to go quick with it because Lil Guy is already at 90%, but they're taking their time. I think they're going to let it even out as they make their way into lobby and just bank on Soar, hitting a shot here, going to be over towards 5, gets a little bit of a body shot over onto Saxophone, who's trying to hold that door. Gonna have to back up and get some heals, as it's just gonna be a question of, can they give Soar enough space to go for shots, and is Soar gonna be brave enough to try and go for those risky shots like Kobe did over in rollout. Sam, speaking of rollout, a little bit of a soldier 1v1 in the doorway, but both going to be able to play their lives, get out, and it's still going to be GlobalClan in the driver's seat, trying to figure out some way to break in onto Jiminy's last.
Yeah, Soars by 5, trying to find the shot, gets hit by the ornament, so no luck there. They're putting a lot of damage onto Sax. There's a lot of windows here where they can have a presence by 5, but Speedy did move his gun, so it watches too much better, so Taz is having a much more difficult time at taking the gun down, and they do find kills. Sax getting both Soar and Quacks will kind of end things for GlobalClan as they have to back up. When no more sniper on the field means they don't really have anything to be afraid of from the side of Jiminy, so they just walk out. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of Uber exchange or hold coming from the side of GlobalClan, considering they're down 2 already. So reclaim second they do, and they're poking into mid. I mean, the respawners are coming in soon. The doors aren't held down very tightly right now, but they do force this Uber out of tank and get the kill onto Quacks. They had to give up Sax in turn, but this Uber is going to be pretty much even from both sides. They've made their entry through the choke. Need to make sure they don't stand on top of each other's models, or they're going to eat too much damage to continue to fight this. 3v3 for now, and the respawners are in favor of the red team if you fight into the mid territory. Zam dying there definitely doesn't bode well for them extending into this fight. They have to play extremely passive. They have to wait for the respawners, but now red team, now they're the ones that have to be careful. Now they're in territory where it's respawner disadvantage, and Dingo, he's on quickies. He doesn't have the ammo to lock down these doors. This could be a giant mistake. There's only 4 of them there for the entire Jiminy team, but Sax, maybe a fatal error. He dies early. The pistols from Kobe, though, takes down Shamu and Quack. They're trying to escape. Broken beam. No scout speed up until now. They're trying to escape through the sewer. Might get cut off through the choke. Taz making his way through IT, though, a bit slow, hiding, not immediately initiating, so he's not part of this fight right off the bat. They're pushing in mid, trying to take some higher ground away, and Taz, he's going for the back cap. He's going for the bigger play. He doesn't want the kills. He wants the cap, and he will get it off of the little cap time they have. It's him versus Sax, 1v1 on last. Kobe's not going to respawn in time, but doesn't want to take the fight immediately. Launch into the air, trying to land on top of him, but Sax does have the damage to take him out. The entire team brought back, though. A little bit of room for the red team, but being down 2 makes it really difficult for them, as well as them not quite having the Uber yet. So Taz, he salvaged enough to kind of stop Jiminy in their track, but doesn't really have enough in the tank to secure the round for the team.
Yeah, really close effort, though. Dingo with a miraculous, huge air shot onto one of his scouts there. Might have been Speedy. Saxon takes a lot of damage, yeah, and that is going to be whatever attempt Jiminy had kind of going down. They had a little bit of player advantage, but with Saxon taking that amount of damage, they are just going to have to back up as Soar, once again, up on Sniper. I think they probably spotted him when they were getting a little bit aggressive through those doorways, so they shouldn't be too surprised to see him on it, especially not considering, actually, that's going to be Dang taking a little bit of damage over in choke. The furthest one forward, unfortunately, for him, but no pick happening, so GlobalClan still going to be an opportunity to try and push as Kobe takes a little bit of damage over in IT. They're trying to shove it, but they kind of push a lot of people over there as well, so they're able to keep him alive as Low Guy going to be playing actually an upper IT, maybe in fear of the sniper.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping their flank extremely healthy, so I say that as Sax dies. In concept, they keep the flank extremely healthy and keep Logai pretty safe, so they can go for some sort of flank shove or just run down the pipe and go into them if they need to. But Kobe, able to find his way onto the sniper, will die in return, but will definitely be worth it as Zam is able to get the kill on the Quack. Speedy up front and center, trying to throw them away. Now the sniper's no longer on the field, but Zam gets scattered out by Shamu. They want to take the super, they want to run, and they want to go under the plate. The beam's broken. Shamu gotta get beamed. He's here now. Uber exchange is a failing for the blue team. Flashes all around. Speedy finds the demo potentially low, unable to really get it. He just dies. Two-rocketed by Taz and with no support. The blue team just has to straight up back up, and the red team take a really ambitious Uber, and it works out in their favor.
Does work out, and Taz trying to get a little bit aggressive over in lobby, maybe try to go for the aggressive sack attempt onto Logai while they aren't completely set up on Jiminy, as now they're finally making their way into lobby. The rest of the team is already Taz going in for a big sack, doesn't get any damage onto Logai. In fact, they're gonna lose two. Sora and Taz both gonna go down. They do manage to find one onto Saxophone, so that should actually, no, they're still gonna peek this Jiminy. Kobe just looking forward, but I think, yeah, with that pick onto Saxophone, they're not gonna feel confident enough to try and go out. So GlobalClan have been able to keep hold on second just a little bit longer, as this time it's Soar's turn to think about going spy, and he is going to go out spy. He has walked out of the spawn door, so he is committed to it.
Yeah. And no one, he's on he's not on complete stock, but it seemed like anyone on blue team is checking for spy, so the not being on complete stock will not matter. The timing of the spy is not the greatest, but it should be fine as long as he goes really, really fast. Funny, Zam is in the corner. He's hoping that people go into lobby, and he just comes around from the side of the boilers and just surprises people that are nearby 5. But Taz, oh, he's probably done this too many times in Pugs, and he does not get a chance. Taz was immediately looking at that corner, expecting someone to potentially be there, so that buys a little bit of time for
probably told them.
That's also true, yeah. I didn't notice what door he actually went through. It's totally possible that he just said there was someone hiding there at the boiler, but a lot of room for Soar to have more time to find an ample spot and moment to decloak, which he'll do now. Trying to find a way onto the medic. Logai's right there, the misstab. He gets
on Speedy,
He's
though.
just trying to revolver him down, but he's popped into the air. Stands still. Uber chains come out. They forgot about the spy. He's still alive, just hiding in a corner. Overall, his post-Uber spy might be huge. He needs to find a moment. Sax is a bit alone, trying to jump away. Will be able to get the respawners. No, the stickies will come through. And Soar, I mean, he's kind of around his team. Is not able to really go for a cloak or a stab or anything like that, but considering the player advantage and red team savers, I don't think it's going to matter. Shows up now. I don't think he really participated that much, but the heavy on the field is a lot of HP to get through, and Dank, I mean, they got to really heal up before they can initiate this. That buys time for Sax's respawn, and a nice lock and load from side takes out the heavy, the demo, which would be the main thing to put the damage into the heavy that's on the field. So, I mean, honestly, a good start from the side of GlobalClan. But at the end of the day, one little thing here or there is just not going to be enough to allow them to secure the point like they wanted.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Maybe if Soar was, actually no, definitely if Soar was able to get the backstab on that heavy, that would have been signed, sealed, and delivered to GlobalClan. But fortunately for them, they're able to get Logai. They kept Dank alive, and now they're going to have an opportunity. Actually, no, Shamu gets insta-headshot by Kobe.
They're canceling.
Yeah, they are going to cancel it. I mean, they could maybe still go in with Soar, but I think they've been shaken a little bit too much there, so we are going to go into a stalemate, because by the time Shamu gets up, it's basically going to be even on the board. I mean, maybe they could go in right now, and this hope Shamu gets there in the post, but instead, we've got something else, something we don't see too much of in TF2.
Post-Uber heavy.
Yeah, the post-Uber heavy. You see this sometimes maybe on Gully Wash, or sometimes Granary, where the heavy can get that easy high ground, but I don't see it too often on Process, I'm gonna be honest, especially into a sniper like Kobe.
It's just kind of hard to find a place to really sit where you're not gonna completely mulch. So it can be, you know, you gotta get this force and take down the gun, and then find a way to get back in. The sword's just gonna die. Yeah. They were not able to really sync up. They got the gun, they lost 2 players, and the Uber is not taken out of the equation. Now Shamu just inside lobby. He's kind of showing himself. He's slowing down the flank at least a little bit. Will eventually die as he's kind of in no man's land. Taz dying as well, so Quack's off to get out of dodge, and that is definitely not, like, that's a play where you don't expect it to go amazing, but you still kind of try anyway, because you kind of have to. But that's definitely way worse than they were hoping for it to go.
Yeah, now it's going to be Jiminy walking in. They do get forced as Quacks over in the backlines is going to get taken down. So great job from him to at least get that Uber dank. Staying alive means it's going to be GlobalClan with advantage, but Jiminy trying to go in before they have Uber recognizing. Oh, Sam gets launched up sky high. Still makes the land on the Taz with the sync bomb. Saxophone just walking forward through upper IT. Not going to be able to take down Dingo. A scout rushing forward, trying to see if he can get to pick Saxophone over in 5. Getting a lot of space, is just going to back up and play with the team, and now still can be Uber advantage for GlobalClan, but Jiminy, they're just pressing it before they have with the player advantage and the damage that they've got at their disposal. They might turn this into a sack wave. Saxophone bombing forward, trying to get in onto Dank, but the scout coming in from behind. How is Dank still alive? Someone! He's going to be able to just stay, and they do get the Uber out. They find 3 for it. Lolguy and Sai are all the way out of there, so they're going to be able to get on to second. Maybe Shamu coming in might have the opportunity. Oh, Sai guy with an amazing pipe, and they're just trying to get onto Lolguy. He's managing to survive. No one can get him with the final rocket, and that's going to be the Uber force, but
2 for an
they're
Uber,
just all down.
You're totally fine getting 2 for an Uber. Just leave one and keep going. It's still player ad. They even had the other kill from earlier, for the Shamu kill. So yeah, they're just leaving one. Speedy is just capping it up. They're going poking and prodding, even though their Ubers aren't in the equation, just because they can get the extra room. Start a drive while Taz is still dead. They can't quite start the actual cap though up until this point. They're trying it now. Everyone was kind of looking at Zam though. That's so much cap time. There were no stickies on the point in preparation.
He's just on the point. They're gonna get it,
and they just win. They got so distracted by the soldier in 2, they didn't set up any of the traps on top of the point to really continue to thwart them, I don't think. And at the end of the day, they just go ahead and cap it up. Jiminy have really turned things around. 3-0 process.
Yeah, Jiminy having a much better night than last night versus GlobalClan, so they're going to be feeling a lot better about that. And, you know, maybe this swap is exactly what they needed. That's what they're going to be saying. Or maybe they just had a better game overall. But, yeah, 3-0. Dingo, once again, last night and tonight, going to be top damaging the server. Just kind of looking at the stats real quick. And again, Kobe having a great game, 25-20. But Shamu as well, 32-12. Absolutely insane stuff coming out from him. Wasn't enough to get his team to victory, but he was having a very good pocket scout game. Both medics actually only dying 3 times each, which I think is crazy. I mean, it was a very slow game, which, you know, makes sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of like it was just mid to second, and it wasn't like GlobalClan were losing their medic. And it wasn't like Jiminy were kind of losing Lolguy either. So that kind of makes sense, but I think both medics did have really standout games.
Yeah. Like, you look at this log and the entirety of it makes sense. No one's in the 300 DPM club. The medics didn't die. The scouts pretty much all did fine. Some of them did crazy. Most of the soldiers have really abysmal-looking stats, except one. So, yeah, that's just a huge portion of the game just being where nothing's happening, and the round conversions are just quick. These little 1-minute windows where all of a sudden a team is able to come out on top and able to convert the round, and then all of a sudden it resets back to the back and forthness of it all. So, you know, another one of those games where the stats, okay, there's plenty of times where the stats don't necessarily depict the story of how the game went, but this one in a completely different way. You know, anytime that there's slow gameplay and there's not tons happening and there's just sacks all around, it always kind of makes the stats look like this. So I'd say it's pretty cookie cutter. I will say the most interesting thing is both medics dying like the same amount, low completely. No drops or anything like that, so.
There were 2 drops.
Or the one,
Dank,
okay, yeah, that's true.
Dank had a couple, unfortunately, but yeah, outside of that, like you said, just kind of a, what seems to happen when it's a very, very slow game, especially on process, especially mid to second, majority of the time. But if you are Jiminy, you're going to be feeling good about that, even if it was a slow game. A win is a win is a win, and that's going to be giving themselves a little bit more confidence going into the rest of the season, and maybe some inspiration that, you know, they still got it. If they thought that they lost it, they still got it, and maybe they can take it to Froyo Tech and Mama's Boys later in the season. And then for GlobalClan, I mean, it was a 3-0 loss, but it was very close. They had moments that they could have been able to convert, a couple of last pushes, and maybe a couple times where they don't drop Uber. It wasn't like it was completely undoable for them. They didn't get 5-0 rolled, so they still have I think they still have a good shot at being able to get a couple more upset wins in the remaining portion of the season.
Yep. At the end of the day, even in your losses, when it comes to a tight race like this, especially for playoffs and things like that, or at least getting a good seed for your playoffs run, all these losses in terms of the rounds, you're not letting the other team go ahead and go all the way to 5-0, or even getting some yourself is all adds up and is beneficial. So you take away what you can and just try to move on. And I would say come back better next time, but this is the rematch already, so. We'll see if there's a next time.
Yeah, we will see if there is a next time. Maybe, I guess the next time would be on LAN if a GlobalClan make it there. Yeah, yeah. So for them, they're going to be hoping that they make it. But as we begin to wind down, any shout-outs you'd like to give, Jarrett?
Shout-outs to everyone for watching, and obviously the teams for playing. Can't have these games without them. So definitely big ups to them. But that's about it.
All right, I will mirror your shout out. Shout out to the teams for playing. Shout out to all y'all for watching. Shout outs to Dolphin, everything he does on production. Shout outs to you, Jarrett, and shout outs as well to the RGL merch. They got some great designs, and LAN is coming up. So what better way to show up to LAN than with some sick merchandise on your person? So definitely check that out. It is seasonal, so it is going to go at the end of the season. So get it now. If you see something you like, don't wait, don't hesitate. But aside from that, we'll be back next week with some more insane, high-octane TF2 invite action. But until then, hope you have a great night. We'll see you next time.